The night had settled deep over the Kentucky wilderness, wrapping the earth in silence so profound it seemed the world itself had paused to listen. The forest stretched endlessly in all directions, dark and watchful beneath a pale moon that hung like a silver coin in the vast emptiness of the sky. Ancient trees stood as silent sentinels, their gnarled branches reaching upward through the darkness, while their roots gripped the frozen earth below. Among these towering giants, nestled in a small clearing barely visible from any path, stood a single log cabin, rough, small, and half swallowed by shadow. Its walls were built from hewn timber, chinked with mud and moss, and its roof sagged slightly under the weight of countless seasons. The wind whispered through the cracks of its walls, carrying with it the scent of pine and wood smoke, and inside, the soft glow of a fire painted trembling patterns upon the wooden floor, casting dancing shadows that seemed alive with memory and possibility. Near that fire sat a boy, tall and thin beyond his years, his frame stretched like a young sapling reaching toward sunlight. His face was half lit by the orange flame, revealing features that were angular and thoughtful, marked already by a seriousness unusual in one so young. His clothes were patched and threadbare, mended countless times by hands that knew the value of every scrap of fabric. His feet were bare despite the cold that crept through the floorboards, for shoes were a luxury his family could rarely afford. His hands, resting gently upon the pages before him, were calloused and rough from long days of labor, splitting rails, clearing brush, carrying water from the distant creek. Yet his eyes, wide, curious and quietly determined, held a light far brighter than the fire before him, a spark of intelligence and yearning that seemed to illuminate him from within. His name was Abraham Lincoln, though the world did not yet know what that name would come to mean. The rest of the cabin slept in the deep, exhausted slumber of those who work from sunup to sundown. His father, Thomas Lincoln, weary from another day of chopping logs and clearing land, rested on a straw mattress near the door, his breathing heavy and rhythmic. His body was worn from years of frontier labor, his hands permanently scarred, his back bent from the endless cycle of survival that defined their existence. His mother, Nancy Hanks Lincoln, lay in the corner bed, her face peaceful beneath the flicker of the flame, her expression soft with dreams. She was a woman of quiet strength and gentle wisdom, who, though she herself could barely read, understood somehow the importance of learning and encouraged her son's hunger for knowledge with every means at her disposal. But Abraham remained awake, as he did most nights, a worn book open on his knees. The volume was old, its spine cracked, its pages yellowed and dog-eared from being read and reread countless times. The light was faint and the air cold, the chill seeping through every gap in the cabin's construction. Yet he read on with unwavering focus, tracing the lines of faded words with a slow, careful finger, absorbing every syllable as though it contained the secrets of the universe itself. He had few books to call his own: the Bible with its tales of prophets and kings, Aesop's fables with their timeless lessons wrapped in simple stories, and perhaps a borrowed volume from a neighbor miles distant who had been kind enough to lend it for a few precious weeks. Sometimes he walked hours through the wilderness just to borrow a book, and then walked the same distance back, clutching it like treasure. He treated each as exactly that, a precious treasure beyond any measure of gold or silver. To him, the words were not merely ink on paper, not simple markings made by a printer's press in some distant city. They were voices from beyond his world, speaking across time and distance of courage, justice, wisdom, and truth. In their rhythm, in the careful construction of their sentences, he heard the sound of something larger than himself, a promise that knowledge could lift even the poorest soul above the weight of hardship and circumstance. He believed with all his heart that education was the path by which common people might rise to uncommon heights, that learning was the great equalizer in a world often marked by inequality and injustice. The fire crackled softly, its logs shifting and settling, sending tiny sparks drifting upward like fireflies seeking escape through the chimney and into the star-filled night beyond. The boy leaned closer, drawn by the need for light, his face glowing warmly in the amber radiance. Around him lay all the marks of a frontier life: a rough-hewn table that wobbled on uneven legs, a wooden stool his father had fashioned from a tree stump, a few iron tools hanging on pegs driven into the log walls, a cast iron pot suspended over the fire for cooking their simple meals. The cabin contained little else: no carpets, no pictures, no comforts of any kind. Everything was utilitarian, designed only for survival. Yet within this boy, despite the poverty that surrounded him, stirred something vast and restless, a hunger to understand the world, to grow beyond the limitations of his birth, to rise above the circumstances that sought to define and confine him. Sometimes, as the flames burned low and the logs collapsed into glowing embers, the shadows thickened and deepened until the cabin seemed to disappear entirely, as if the walls themselves had dissolved into the surrounding darkness. In that stillness, in that liminal space between waking and dreaming, Abraham imagined the world beyond the forest. His mind traveled far from the Kentucky wilderness to places he had never seen but desperately wished to know. He saw cities filled with people from every walk of life, their streets bustling with commerce and conversation. He envisioned courts of justice where great matters were decided by reason and law rather than by force or privilege. He pictured great men standing before assemblies, speaking with eloquence and passion of freedom and right, of human dignity and the principles that should govern a just society. He dreamed of being among them someday, not for personal glory or material gain, but to do something good, something that mattered, something that would make the world better than he had found it. These were not idle fantasies, but aspirations that burned within him with the same intensity as the fire that lit his pages. His mother often noticed the faint glow in the night when she stirred from sleep, and seeing her son still bent over his books, she smiled softly to herself with a mixture of pride and concern. She knew the boy's heart was not like others his age, who seemed content with the simple patterns of frontier existence. Though his hands were rough with work and his body showed the strain of physical labor, his mind reached constantly toward light, toward understanding, toward something beyond the immediate demands of survival. She said little about this, for she was not given to many words, but she prayed quietly in her heart that his thirst for knowledge would never fade, that somehow this boy of hers would find his way to the opportunities she knew he deserved. She sensed, in the way that mothers sometimes do, that there was something special about him, some purpose waiting to unfold that she could not fully comprehend but could nonetheless feel in her bones. Morning always came too soon, arriving with the first grey light that filtered through the cracks in the shuttered window. The fire turned to grey ash, its warmth fading with the advancing dawn, and Abraham rose stiffly with the new day to begin his chores. There were logs to split, their frozen wood resisting the axe until his arms ached with the effort. There was water to carry from the creek, bucket after bucket, regardless of weather or season. There were fields to help his father clear, endless labor that left his back sore and his hands bleeding. Yet as he worked, swinging the axe or guiding the plow, the words he had read the night before still lived within him, echoing in his mind like music. He repeated them under his breath, shaping them in his thoughts until they became part of his very being, woven into the fabric of his character. The lessons from those books became the lens through which he viewed the world, the foundation upon which he would build his understanding of justice, equality, and human dignity. Through seasons of toil and struggle, through summers when the heat was oppressive and winters when the cold seemed unbearable, he continued his nightly ritual. Every night after his chores were finally done, after the animals were fed and the tools put away and the last task completed, he returned to the fire with whatever book he possessed. Sometimes the smoke from green wood stung his eyes until they watered, making it difficult to see the page before him. Sometimes the light was too dim to make out the words clearly, and he had to hold the book at strange angles to catch the flickering illumination. Sometimes exhaustion pulled at him so powerfully that his head nodded and his eyes closed against his will, yet he never gave up. He read by that small flame until the last spark faded and the forest beyond fell into complete silence, until sleep finally claimed him and he collapsed onto his own rough bed. This pattern repeated night after night, month after month, year after year, a testament to his extraordinary determination and his unshakable belief in the transformative power of education. In time, measured not in days or months but in years and decades, that same boy would become a man of towering heart and quiet strength. The lessons learned in the glow of that frontier fire would guide him through trials that would have broken lesser men. When the world came to know him as President Abraham Lincoln, when his name was spoken in the halls of power and his words were published in newspapers across the nation and beyond, people marveled at the wisdom contained in his speeches and the compassion evident in his actions. They wondered at the depth of his understanding and the kindness in his spirit, qualities that seemed almost inexplicable given his humble origins. Few knew, and fewer still understood, that both had been born in that humble cabin, under the light of a flickering fire, in the long, quiet nights of his youth when a poor boy with nothing but determination chose learning over rest, knowledge over comfort, and hope over despair. He never forgot those hours, not when he stood before crowds, not when he debated great orators, not when he occupied the highest office in the land. He remembered the chill air that made his fingers stiff as he turned the pages, the faint crackle of the logs settling in the hearth. The hunger in his heart to learn that was as powerful as any physical hunger he had known. It was there, in that modest dwelling beneath the wooden roof and beside the glowing hearth, that a poor boy found his path through the power of words. The fire that once lit his pages would one day light the conscience of a nation, guiding a divided country through its darkest hour and illuminating principles of freedom and equality that would echo through generations yet unborn.